Sometimes, life doesn't go the way you planned. You start off on your own, believing that you're prepared for what lies ahead. But life has a way of doing exactly what it wants, ignoring the consequences that it throws at those living it. My life began in quiet darkness, fitting for the night predator I was to become soon enough. I hatched and found myself beside the southern mud pit. Ideal, considering it is one of my favorite spawns, and an area I am quite familiar with. I was the lucky child who was born with a perfect diet and a full belly, beginning my life larger and growing faster than my siblings who would come after. My father took care to feed me often, while my mother... Well, I don't think she liked that I looked like my dad. Regardless of the lack of love from my mother, I grew quickly and soon was old enough to feed myself. As the eldest child, I took it upon myself to help my parents protect the nest and my younger siblings. When a fresh spawn raptor thought he'd make quick work of the nest, I dealt with him myself. Unfortunately, immediately after, the server crashed, and when I returned, my parents did not. My poor little brother was on the verge of starvation and still too young to feed himself. There was nothing I could do but watch him slowly waste away while I fed myself. A small Serato found us as I was getting a drink. And though I tried to warn him, my remaining sibling was killed. Probably a mercy over continuing to starve to death, but hey. After growing on AI and making my way to Delta River, I spent some time tracking a very loud baby stego. I don't exactly know why fresh spawn stegos feel the need to scream from the moment they are born, but it was the first other player I'd seen since my sibling's death, and though I wasn't hungry, I was desperate to see someone that was not a boar running for its life. Then again, baby stego running for its life and boar running for its life both look very similar. At least with the stego I could get a good laugh out of scaring him before sending him on his way unharmed. Sometime later I heard multiple tennos. Finally, I might be able to find some decent action. I'd been wandering the map for a ridiculous amount of time by this point, and was relieved to hear players that were not northeast of my current location, if you get my drift. I spotted one partially hidden beside a rock and gave him a couple of bites. AFK. Unwilling to kill a defenseless player, I returned my attention to where the rest of the herd had gone. I picked up their tracks and then rolled in the mud, because my rather, let's just say bright, skin I had inherited from my father was not conducive to night hunting. Not that rolling in the mud really helped my situation. I looked back and spotted a tenno running full tilt toward me. My wallowing animation was too slow to flee. I was at his mercy here in the mud. But he and his friend were peaceful. Shocking, I know. Peaceful tennos. I guess a solo dilo just isn't that threatening. Now, however, I felt a bit bad. I'd been planning to hunt this herd, hoping to catch one alone for some good 1v1 hunting action. And I'd been spotted long before I even caught up with the main herd. Whoops. I gave them time to catch up before I continued my hunt. By the time I found a target, the sun was rising. No matter whether he could see me or not, I was prepared for a fight. He spotted me before I could get an ambush on him, and the hunt began as expected. Then, suddenly, like a dog that had spotted a squirrel, this Tenno decided to take off after a boar and completely ignore me. Like, man, I get it. There's AI everywhere. I'm sure he was thinking, look, here's food, eat this and leave me alone. Except, I wanted to complete my preferred diet combo, and I needed a heart for that. The boar died, and I continued my relentless attack on the Tenno. He wasn't getting out of this that easily. And just like that, he fled. Like a coward. Not a hallucination loosed on him. Not that they would have even worked in the swamp due to the nature of the bugs regarding the copies. Simply unwilling to continue the fight any longer. I followed, determined to track him down and finish him off or die trying. But my plan was foiled quickly when he joined a massive herd of stegos and other Tennos. 5 young stegos, an adult, and 4 Tennos. Yeah, I didn't stand a chance. I stuck around the area though, and waited for night to fall. With so many young steglings around, there was plenty of opportunity for me to catch one unaware in the darkness. For the first time in my Dilo's life, I actually got properly lucky. A solo stegling. Big enough to be a proper fight, but still small enough that I wouldn't get one shot if I made a mistake. To top it all off, it was raining and dark. Just exactly the perfect scenario for hunting a stego. It started out exactly as I had hoped. Got some good bites, threw him into a world of fog and darkness. And then I made a mistake. Or, well, at least I got isled. A tail swing to the extreme tippity tip of my tail left me with a sliver of health and heavy bleed. Ouch. I'd have to play this more carefully. Being in the swamp between 2 different water sources rendered my hallucinations effectively useless. But that didn't mean I couldn't give him a reason to fear the fog. Just as things were getting interesting, and I was beginning to worry about my blood pool, the stegling began to flee. I'm not sure what he hoped would happen. Perhaps that I'd just give up or run out of stamina? But after attempting to camp a couple of bushes and running around for a while, he simply laid down and gave up. Oh no, no. You don't get to just give up. Stand on your feet and fight me. I don't think my response was what he expected. I'm sure he thought he would simply die there. But I allowed him to regain some stamina before gently encouraging him to get back up. Exhaustion is no excuse. Full stamina regen is not allowed. This is war. He rose, and the fight began anew. Once more exhausted, he tried to give up again. No. Back on his feet, we fought on. And again, down he went. This time I wasn't putting up with it for long. One tail swing, carefully aimed, would kill me. Even a few well-timed bites would kill me. I refused to claim a victory I didn't properly earn. He returned to his feet for the final time. What little stamina he had regained was lost in a final attempt to flee. Whether he was trying to throw himself in the ocean, or whether he simply couldn't see where he was going through the venom fog, he ran out of stamina for the final time. That was the last fight I saw for many hours. Unwilling to join the hotspots on the eastern side of the map, I doggedly trudged on, surviving on the plentiful AI that spawned in my wake, even as my sanity waned. At one point, I heard a Cerrado beside the highland lake, and hope for a proper hunt sent me scurrying across the highlands. Unfortunately, by the time I had arrived, the likely also desperate for action Cerrados had attacked a pair of adult stegos and met their demise. At least the stegos let me eat from the corpses. I made my way back to where I was born. South Plains wasn't always barren and dead. It used to be full of life, before the hotspots took over and destroyed much of the experience of finding other players more naturally. But hey, today was one of those days that there just so happened to be life in the South Plains that wasn't AI. A Cerrado, and his consort of other random species, but the Isle, friendly called as I approached. No. I'm so desperate for a hunt that I don't even feel bad making my intentions clear. You. Yes, you. You are going to die, and I am going to eat you. His Pteranodon tried to help, but there was nothing to be done. I spared the bird. By this point, I've grown into an almost personality on this particular dilo, and senseless killing just isn't his style. Sometime later, I'm back at the Delta River. My sanity has fallen further after so long without seeing another player. But I heard a raptor in the distance and decided to investigate, hoping there would be a pack. Unfortunately, there was only one, and he really wasn't happy to see me. He fled onto a rock, and I, unwilling to simply give up the first player I'd seen in hours, did the petty thing and tried to get to him. When he bit me in the face for my attempt, I went into wait mode. There was plenty of AI. I could feed myself easily. The moment I turned my back, he was on me. Yes, a fight. It didn't go well for him, and he returned to the rock. Darn. I waited. A small dino decided to chase a boar toward the rock my current target was healing on, so I tried to pick a fight with him instead. He also was unwilling to fight, and fled into the water without a thought for turning around and biting me in the face. Disappointing. I returned to my post, and the raptor decided to come back down. Two bites and he was back on the rock again. I needed to adjust my strategy if I wanted him to actually fight back for more than a second or two. Doing my best to encourage him to come back down, using only the body language of a literal night demon, I was actually shocked that he seemed to understand. I just wanted to fight. I was so bored. Please just spar with me. This time I was less aggressive, allowing him the opportunity to come at my more defensive stance instead. It still ended after only a couple of bites, but his bravery in facing me despite the odds earned my respect. Knowing he was envenomated, I approached the rock and offered him a boar of peace before heading on my way. Not all battles must end in death. Sometimes there is honor in simply being willing to face the challenge. Ultimately, after so much time spent wandering the silent map and avoiding the eastern areas, I gave in. I was tired of wandering for so long, trying to die honorably in battle when there was no one around despite a full server. And I wasn't going to spend another 3 days hoping to cross paths with another East Area denier again. I paused for a drink along the Northeast River in a place that I knew to be extremely shallow, and was met by a dino. Okay. I mean, I'll fight a Landino if he's going to deliver himself to me on the far side of the river from his mega pack. And then, like so many others before, he just stopped being willing to fight back and decided to insult me by literally starting to safe log while I was attempting to kill him. Rude. As the sun rose, so did the players. So quiet during the night, I began to hear raptors and serratos yelling around the lake, coming out of their hidey holes now that they could properly see. I glanced over my shoulder and saw an approaching Carno. I think he was hoping to get an ambush on me, but clearly that didn't go according to plan. The fight raged across the northeast plains and onto the bridge. Tight spaces are not great for either Carno or Dilo, but together, the Dilo is at the disadvantage. Add in the rubber banding and lag, and well, ouch. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and a comment. If you're new around here, please consider subscribing for more content like this. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.